Hello and welcome to the PM Show, your weekly roundup of what's new and going on in the modelling world. Good morning, gentlemen. How are we this morning?
Good morning, I'm good.
All bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, are we?
Yeah, no,
I'm
all right.
I'm suffering with a cold, so I've not gone in today, so don't give it to Matt.
Yes, he's been quarantined.
I'm sure Matt gave it me last week, so
Probably. Spread the love. Spread the love.
Yeah, that's it. Like to share everything here.
Yeah.
So don't panic if you are ordering. We've got him quarantined away safely in a different county.
I have taken 2 COVID tests and they both come back negative, so it's not that.
Oh, right, okay. Anyway, your orders will still be going out because Matt's still on it, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, we might as well just start off with that. So we've had a official announcement from, how are we pronouncing this? Qatari? Do we think it's a bird then, like a kingfisher?
The Qatari, is it?
Qatari.
Qatari, I don't know.
Qatari.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it looks like a little kingfisher.
It does.
It's Kingfisher, yeah.
Have you Googled it?
No, but I can tell by the look of the bird. I'm a twitcher.
Are you?
Yeah.
Is that what he calls it? Anyway, it looks like we're going to be doing a Spitfire, which, to be honest, clearly they are watching us and listening to us and all the rest of it, because we said to them they need to get a banker, let's face it, in the system. And why not? Let's face it, it's a Spitfire, it's the Mark 1. No one does one.
Right.
So, that's it. It's in there. And again, I imagine because they've got the tooling and all the bits and pieces for this one, we might see different versions. And me and Matt were discussing this earlier, saying there is some really nice ones that no one's ever done in 32nd. And to be honest, it does look very nice indeed. We've got a few little pictures, as you can see here. As you can see, it looks a bit grainy in the old sepia look, which I can sort of understand what they're doing. But if you click on gallery in here, we can see a few more close-up details that are also still a bit grainy, but there we go. But showing you the fabric with the stitching into it as well, so that's quite nice. The rudder down in there, the details looking very good. And again, some of the sort of riveting and the sort of stressed skin into the riveting details looks very nice indeed. So actually, I have to say I'm quite excited. I'm very hopeful that it works out. Obviously, we are realists here at the end of the day and we don't sugarcoat anything, and we do know there's a big difference between CAD and reality because it's all down to tooling and various things like that of actually how it comes out. But again, it's looking pretty darn good. You can see some decent work down in there, a cockpit, 32nd scale. Yeah, absolutely. And like we were saying, I think if you were going to be doing something, and you wanted to jump into a market, you need to get something down in there that's going to earn you some money and bring some money back into the company. And like we said before, although we know there's a big love for World War I aircraft out there, it ain't going to pay the bills, is it? So hopefully this will be as good as we're seeing down in there. It looks all good to be released, hopefully late 2022. So we've got about a year out on that one, and I must admit I'm quite excited for it. I'm really be interested to get my hands on it, have a proper sort of perusal around the plastic, and obviously put one together, see what it goes like. But yeah, very good.
By the power of Grayskull or Google, Qatari is a Kingfisher.
It is a Kingfisher, right? So couldn't they use Kingfisher? There's someone use that Kingfisher models.
It's trademarked for beer in it or something.
Oh, is it?
B&Q are Kingfisher as well, aren't they?
Oh yeah, Kingfisher Group, innit? B&Q used to be, wasn't it? Smiths and all the Woolies and that, wasn't it? It was all under that group.
No.
I think back in the day. But yeah, anyway, I must admit, I woke up to this morning. Yeah, it's quite excited for it. It should be very, very interesting. And if they push through a few different marks in 32nd, yeah, definitely.
I'd just say the other version of the Mark 1's a Revell one, isn't it? But these are going to be different ends of the spectrum in price points, aren't they?
And detail and all the rest of it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so there's going to be a massive difference here for people say, well, there's the Revell one, but yeah, that's, like I say, it's going to be completely different kettle of fish to that.
Yeah.
The Revell's are 2 anyway, isn't it?
Who's vibrating? Who's vibrating?
Guess who it is?
Oh, you can wait.
Yeah. Should know by now. Going back to the Spitfire, and like I say, they needed to start off on a strong footing, really, if you're doing a business, aren't you? So it is a bit of a no-brainer to either do a Spitfire 109 or a P51, because that's where the money's going to be, and it's going to be a good sell. Yeah. Again, if they can bring out a Mark 5, probably Mark 2A or whatever, and a few of the other versions, I don't know whether they'll tackle a Mark 9 because obviously that's where Tamiya's gone, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, but like we were saying, later ones as well, perhaps Griffin powered.
Yeah, Griffin
Yeah.
powered Spitfires.
Yeah.
No one does them, so definitely. I think if you wanted to go through that sort of history of them, I must admit I've got a few 48s down in there. But yeah, if you go up to the higher marks, shall we say, the Mark sort of 16s and things like that for the Griffin powered ones, it's no one does it. And again, it's one of those areas where you can find yourself a nice little niche. And as we've said, it's a no-brainer. It's going to hopefully bring in the money. If it's as good as it looks, I think it'll be a really welcome move into the hobby. They're going to come in with something that's going to come in running, going to make them some money. It'll enable them to obviously invest it back into the company, you would have thought, and obviously progress and go through. So yeah, good on them. Good job.
It's safe. I mean, you're always going to get, it's a Spitfire, it's boring. Why are they doing a Spitfire? Why aren't they doing this? But from a business point of view, it completely makes sense. So
yes.
Good luck to them. Hope it.
Yeah, I do as well. Good luck to you guys. Hope it all works out for
Yeah.
you, and I'm really looking forward to putting one together as well.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
if you're looking for a distributor,
Yeah, that's it. Definitely.
give us a call.
Give us a call. Shoot us a message. But yeah, no, really, really nice. So again, it was quite a nice thing to wake up to on that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is definitely.
Other things as well we're up to as well. You can't really see the good pictures, and we haven't got mass pictures up here, but we are going to be. Well, there you go, Matt. You can talk us through this.
We are going to be stocking 2 new lines. I think they're either doing today or tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to be stocking is the MIG Productions washers and filters
Yep.
for one, and then the Ab Teal 502 pigments
Yes. Which
The
come in these
full
very
range.
nice little tubs.
in the little tubs, which is very similar to the old MIG Productions.
Incredibly similar.
Very similar.
Very, very similar.
I've got a big one here. Ooh,
Yes.
it says
So there you go. But they're now branded as Ab Teal 502 brand, not under the MIG brand. So yeah, same little pots as what Andy's showing, but yeah, obviously different label on it. But I think it's even the same colours, if I'm honest,
Yes.
looking at the range. So they've just obviously changed the brand names over. But yeah, we're going to be stocking them. They're going to be up and available by the end of the week.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Phil's just showing the new little pots.
Very nice they are indeed. We've got a few
Yes.
of the other ones here. So yeah, very, very nice indeed. And I must admit, I've used them. Very, very good. Nice
Yes, yeah.
product.
There's some nice colours as well, some nice shades and
Yeah.
tints
I
and
must admit,
stuff.
I used this one on something that I can't remember now, but I can't remember now. I bugged this all over it. But yeah, really, really nice. Good
So
stuff. But
yeah, that's
so-
going to be our new range anyway. That will be in by the end of the week.
Yes. Look,
So-
I didn't realise they fit perfectly on this design of Hump with the angle of the camera and everything.
There
They're
you go.
perfect. So yeah, no, that's good. So we got those coming in. What else we got coming in this week?
That's about it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's a bit quieter this week, shall we say? There's some stuff doing for next week. Obviously, we're building up for our Flory Fest
Yes.
in a couple of weeks, so there's going to be stocks coming in the next couple of weeks to build up for that. So for this week, yeah, just quiet with stuff coming in. Apart from obviously that's coming out of AK,
Mhm.
and just just really restocking bits and bobs. As for new releases and stuff, it's pretty quiet at the minute. I think
is.
they're all waiting for fourth quarter. I think it will come under because we're in third quarter, are we?
Third quarter, yeah.
Which is normally the quietest quarter of the year for releases. So yeah,
Yeah.
lots of things due to come in and scheduled to come in, but I think we're going to be looking like obviously fourth quarter stuff rather than third.
Yes.
So yeah, one of them in betweeny.
Type ones, that's it.
Yeah,
Couple of things obviously we got up on pre-order, talking about things that are due in.
Yes.
Is obviously the new Hurricane.
which is the Armour Hobbies dual combo jibby jobber. So obviously the best in scale in 72nd by a country mile. You get 2 versions of that with all the bits and bobs. You get exhausts and
Yep.
a few bits of resin.
Again, a really nice thing about it is it's only basically 24 quid
Yeah.
for 2.
Yeah,
With the extras and all the bits that go into it. So really it's a no-brainer. And I love the trop one at the back.
Yeah.
We were discussing this the other day, I know, but I've got a real hankering to do a troppy type thing. So of some description, either a Spit, a Hurricane, or a P40, something like that, bow fighter, whatever, So it is. It's a lovely colour.
it is. The top colours are brilliant. There's all blue in the middle, stone and dark.
Yeah.
They're just a brilliant combination of a camo scheme in it. So I think an Hurricane, you need to do an Hurricane with the big cannons, don't you? You need to do a D.
Yes. Yeah.
But you can't get one. But you
No.
need to do one. You need to do one, but you can't get one. Criminal.
It is, definitely. So anyway, those are on pre-order as well. The other thing as well, we've got the Lightning. So this is the Hasegawa kit, I presume?
No, it's Dragons.
Oh, this is the Dragon one. Right,
This is
sorry.
the Dragon 72nd one. Which again, there's not a lot to compare it to in P38. I think the other one that might stand up to it is probably the Academy one, which again, I don't think you can get it anymore.
No.
I can't think of anybody else who does a P38 in 72nd.
No, not 72nd.
With my, I know, like obviously back in the day, Airfix have done, a lot of companies have done them. But
Yeah, they've all done it, but it's gone now. Yeah.
Modern ones. Did a guy actually do one in 72nd? They must have done. I know they've done a 48th one, but
yeah,
don't know, to be honest now.
Don't know.
But yeah,
Google
that's the
Corner.
Dragon one from back in the day. Hey,
Google Corner says.
he's looking. Yeah, what's Scalemate say?
No, it's fair. I was looking because it's all right. Sorry, they're out of order. Of how I put them up, and I was just like looking to see if the other one was up. There's actually three variants of that one. There's a European one, Night Fighter, and the Pacific ones. They're all got separate pre-order slots, but yeah.
Very nice.
So that'll be
be
nice. Yeah, it'd be nice to have a look at. And there's
That's
two.
what I was looking for.
So which version have we got up here, Andy? Because there is two versions. Is this just the standard without the book, or is...
That is the standard. I believe that is the standard without the book. That's the price of the standard without the book.
Yeah.
Right.
Presuming that the box art's the same for both of them.
I didn't know if you're going to put both up and just say.
I will do, but it was just that was the only picture that were found. I'm trying to find if there was another picture for the other one, but
Right. Yeah. So yeah, we discovered yesterday when we were runting around for stuff, me and Phil yesterday morning. There's two versions of this.
Yeah.
One with and one without a book.
Yes. So we're assuming it's probably the same book that was with the 72nd one.
We think it is, yeah.
But we're not sure. That, to be honest, the jury's a little bit out on this. We're sort of limited information on it because again, this one has got the upgraded Brazin gun set for it and all the rest of it. So it's the chin section, if you like. Even though this is the D, it's not like a conversion from like the V to the D and all the rest of it, which is out there. But they're taking that part to sort of update that area on the front end because obviously it's got the sighting system and all the bits and pieces underneath it as well. So it actually details that. Clearly you can see the markings as well. That's the Czech one there, isn't it? Which is, again, it's a little bit odd, and I'm not saying it's wrong because it's clearly nice markings, but again, it's very similar box art to the 72nd one. So when you're glancing through sometimes, you look at it and thinking, is that the 72nd one? And then obviously it does say 48th, but at a glance, it's like it's the same markings, but perhaps they've obviously just upscaled the markings for
I think you've got to think, though, the Czechs have probably done the most striking.
Oh, they've done some
schemes
striking,
on the Heinz, haven't they? So over the years, they've done some fantastic sort of versions of it. So I can see why they've probably stuck with what was the 72nd one and just transferred it to 48 because it works.
Yeah.
So.
And again, it's timing as well because obviously we're expecting the new trumpeter one to drop. And to be honest, I have seen some pictures of it. And some of my concerns were over riveting and stuff like that. It looks like the trumpeter one hasn't got it either for whatever reason. It's not like if you look at the Big Brother, it's covered in it, raised details and recessed details and all the rest of it, but the cockpit's a lot more detailed. But this one, obviously you get all the nicey bits of the cockpit as well now in the set. So in some ways it's almost a bit like Formula One now. It's almost like Ed Arder covering off the trumpeter release, putting it just in there right at time and everything else with the bits and pieces to cover it off because the pricing as well isn't that much difference. So
yeah, what you going to say, Andy?
The one with the book, which I will put up, I'll do it as a separate thread, probably be easier to save confusion.
Yeah,
it was about £16-17 more than this one is without the book. So take your choices.
We are a bit confused. So if somebody could actually get in touch of why a certain kit that they are bringing out as a special edition is £104.
Yes, we can't work back. Yeah.
It's very steep for what it is.
Yes. Well, we might as well let people know. It's basically they're doing a reboxing of the Revell ECR Tornado, but for some reason the pricing doesn't fit
which you can buy for 30 quid. Or
30 quid,
Yeah.
is it? The normal
Yeah.
one?
Yes.
Yeah. We're a bit confused on the price point for that at the minute, so we don't know if it's a typo or it is actually genuine. I hope it's a typo.
Yeah, what do you get with it? Perhaps it's a 3 in a box. it's a triple.
An old squadron.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But anyway, really interesting to see the Hind, and I have to say I took the DCS Hind for a fly. I bought it over the weekend and absolutely love it. Just saying. So now I've got hinkering to build one. I was going to maybe have a go at the new trumpeter one, but yeah, that looks very tempting as well now with all the goodies in it. The other ones down below we spoke about, really, we don't need to cover these again, do we? But obviously we got the SR71 is due probably, we're hoping next month or November by the looks of it.
Yeah. Soon.
Revell's new tool F15E, we're still to get full information about all of that one, which be interesting to see. And the other ones, as you can see down in here, there's your Lightnings as well. Have you got a box art for that one? Oh, there we go. So there we go, it's the Night Fighter version.
Yeah.
With the bits on there as well, which is quite cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Scheme. So yes, some nice stuff down in there.
It's not a plane you like, is it, the P38?
I've never been a fan of the P38, no, I must admit, I just don't, yeah. I've got it there, I've got the Tamiya limited edition and that, purely because it's the limited edition one. But I've never, I don't know why, it's just never floated my boat at all.
No,
So,
I like them. I think they had some nice nose arts as well on them. I think they were quite a cool looking aeroplane for the day. Something different with the booms and how it was set out. But yeah, Marmite, is it?
It is, I think it probably is a little bit of a Marmite aircraft. It's a bit like when they did those, the twin Mustangs. And the twin aircraft.
I didn't get that.
Why? Why would you do that?
Yeah, I never got that.
I have the feed, especially if it was dual crewed, wouldn't it? Some of them were dual crewed for fatigue and that. And I'm thinking, but it'd be like backseat driving, wouldn't you? You'd be on there yourself. You twat, what are you doing that for?
What was the point of it?
Well, it had better range as well, and it was supposed to be faster because it's 2 engines. It's got bigger fuel tanks, and obviously, if it was dual crewed as well, you had the situation of one could be the navigator type thing and sharing the workload and stuff like that. But clearly, it never worked because you don't see them now, do you?
I suppose if you're following a bomber flight from England to Germany and then back again, you probably could follow it all the way there and all the way back.
Yeah.
And 2 pilots. Yeah, like I said, less stress in it.
But how manoeuvrable was it?
I have no idea.
No, I don't
Clearly
know.
not that manoeuvrable because they soon went out of fashion.
It was.
But then you look into the Zulu wing, isn't it? For the hindcalls, strap 2 hindcalls together to tow the Gigant.
Yeah, but that's for towing. I can see the reason behind that. Because, obviously they needed the extra power to get them things up in the air, the big gliders and stuff. But as for the twin Mustang, it was just, I don't know, perhaps odd concept to me, but there you go.
Yes. Never mind. But anyway, all the pre-orders, as always, up on the actual Florio Models members area.
Yeah.
You can grab your bits and pieces in there. Again, we're not 100% when stuff's coming in at the moment. It tends to come in when it comes in. So, but again, there is some really nice, interesting kits coming. But we reckon it'll probably be next month now because they're going to slip all into the 4th quarter. And then they're going to try and obviously get in for the old Christmas markets, maybe, and things like that.
Yes.
There is a couple of kits that were due 2nd quarter, aren't there? That were still outstanding, but we are expecting them to drop. Possibly early. Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you what is up there. Sorry, there is another pre-order. The Airfix.
The thingy-majig. Yeah, I've just seen it.
Wellington.
No, it's not.
Oh, is it not in it?
No. It will be by the time this goes up.
Oh, right, okay. But also with the other one that's still in there as well, isn't it? The Vampire?
Oh, that's been up pages. Yeah,
because must be dropping shortly, one would have thought.
That was locked now, so...
Yeah, we shut that, but yeah. No.
Speaking of which, those nice people at Airfix, I have to say, sent me a kit. Why are you not all excited?
Vote on the forum if you want Phil to build it out of the box with the paints and glue.
Yeah. Public.
You know what? It's fine. I did speak to Matt about this. I did say it would be one of those of actually trying to do it, but it would be better if we did it for a turkey shoot weekend.
Yeah.
Perhaps we'll all get ourselves a kit because again, I did say obviously I've got to do a thing for this one anyway, but it will be that thing of throw the bag, probably keep the brush, but the rest will go straight out and then, do it. But I did say that maybe for the turkey shoot weekend, it could be our thing to build one of these, a starter kit out of a box. Literally, what's in the box, you get it. You're only allowed to use pegs, a knife, blunt one, clearly, to hack your way through the plastic. So we're going back to 1980.
What, and tube glue?
Tube of glue, yeah.
Yeah, you're on your own with that. I'm not. I'll do a starter kit, mate.
If you were doing armour starter set, it wouldn't matter if you're using a tube of glue. That's weld, yeah. Squeeze it in. It's a weld bead. It's fine.
Fog canopies.
Fog canopies, yeah. That'd be fantastic. What could go wrong?
You're not allowed to cheat.
I must admit, did anyone see that thing that was on the internet? It was doing the rounds this week, and it's a guy in Singapore. Apparently, he's been building kits for I don't know, 50 years or something, and he owns a model shop and all the rest of it. And they showed him clearly building a kit using the tube of glue. And I'm thinking, this guy's got amazing models in his display cabinet that he's built. Is he really trying to tell people he uses a Humbrol tube of glue to put these things together? Who are they trying to kid? There's no frigging way he builds all these fantastic models on one of those little trays that they have, He's using their paints and glues from a starter set, and he's putting this kit together, and he said, oh, and I've built these as well, and they're amazing. It's like, who are you trying to kid? If he's a professional modeler, there's no way he's using a bit of poly cement to put these kits together, But yeah, clearly it was done for more advertising, shall we say, purposes than anything else. But yeah,
power of TV.
Yes, it did make me somewhat giggle that that ain't gonna happen. Right, what do you want to do? Do you want to talk about what we were saying first, or do you want to do questions? We'll do this first. Because
we've got a little short show, what I thought I'd do, I've dug a couple of kits, or more manufacturers off the shelving, off our racking.
Yes.
I thought we could just have a quick chat about a bit limited run stuff.
Yes.
And these sort of manufacturers, I'll cover myself, there we go, with that balance. So,
yes.
Obviously, Valum AZ and Sword.
Yes.
Are just the subject matters that they cover more than anything. I know I've built a couple of Valum kits. You've built a Sword kit, haven't you, Andy? You built
I built a couple of Sword kits, yeah.
A couple of Sword kits. And again, the AZ, obviously, I picked the Chipmunk because obviously it's topical with the Airfix 48th one. And there aren't many 72nd ones out there, to be fair.
No.
And basically, it's just more down to the subject matter of what they cover, because these tend to go, because I like to say they're limited run, they'll go for the more obscure subjects that the mainstream boys will never touch because of the sales. And I think that's why I'm more, when I was building aircraft, more drawn to these sort of manufacturers than, like I say, more the mainstream stuff. So yeah, it's again, if you've not heard of them or don't know a lot about them, go and check them out.
We've got some reviews. I've reviewed Valum a few times, and I've reviewed Sword as well. There are reviews out there, and I've reviewed, I think, both. Well, I've definitely reviewed the. I think I have done the Harrier, definitely. Not sure about the other two, but I have done some other Valum kits. I did the Voodoo because you built it, wouldn't it? And stuff like that as well. And again, like Valum especially, I wouldn't be put off. People, again, it's that fear, I think. People, limited run kits, it's going to be like a bar of soap. Seriously, they're not. There's recessed details on most of them these days. The only thing you're going to be lacking with them is maybe locating pins. And to be honest with you, especially with the smaller stuff, they're usually more of a hindrance than a help in a lot of cases when you're just trying to line things up. So honestly, I just wouldn't be put off. And also people sometimes worry about clear parts on limited run kits because they're not going to be as good or as crystal clear and stuff. But again, maybe back in the 80s, but nowadays, they're pretty much onto it. And Valum especially does some very, very interesting subjects. And like we're saying, the big companies won't touch it because it's a little bit niche, but they will do it because it's a limited run and they will fill that market. And that's the nice thing to it. Same thing with a 72nd two-seat Harrier. Who else is going to do one? And again, very nice, no problem at all with it. It's got all the bits and pieces that you'd want. Sometimes they're a little bit more basic, shall we say, in interiors. Yeah. But there's normally aftermarket, like if you're talking modern jets like Harriers and stuff, you can put in usually aftermarket resin seat because that's all you'd ever need because you can't see anything else in there. Very nice indeed. I can't speak for the Chipmunk because I haven't seen that one. But again, AZ, they've got some fantastic stuff that nobody else would go near at all. So if you are thinking that, oh, it's aftermarket and that, I really wouldn't be put off. It's not like they used to be back in the day. The clear parts are clear. It's usually recessed panel lines unless it's a very old kit. And the fit is normally not that bad. You might get a little bit more, the sprues especially tend to be a bit more chunky and things. And perhaps some of the sprue tabs might be thicker than normal. But again, that's limited run for you. But we've often spoken about the smaller companies, shall we say, like that. Really, when you think about their catalogue of what they've got, they're not that small. They've got a lot of kits released, in the smaller scales normally. 72nd tends to be always that thing with those, but yeah, very nicely done.
I think the scale thing is down to the manufacturing process. Because I talk to somebody, it's a different manufacturing process, especially I think for Valen.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about Sword, but they use different molds. They don't use sort of metal molds as far as I know. They use like resin molds that only get so many out before they have to be retooled, I suppose, or cleaned up or whatever. I mean, you do get bits of resin. I think you get some resin seats in this, I think.
Yeah. I can't remember.
You got some resin with your Gannet, didn't you?
Yeah, with my no, I didn't with my Gannet, but the new version of it you do, yeah.
Right.
I don't think I did with mine, or did I?
Some of the Valet, I know when I did the Voodoo, you got a bit of Photoetch, I think, and a bit of...
Yes, you did. You definitely got the Photoetch. And I got a feeling you got a little bit of photo... Well, you can see it there. You definitely did with the Battler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, you did with the Islander as well, if I remember rightly. Did you say you definitely did in there? So, as I say, I'm not sure about the Harrier. I think that's in our...
I think it's fair to say that if you would go with a mainstream manufacturer, you probably would do rather than them. That's the thing with them, though, isn't it? They don't do what the mainstream manufacturers do.
No.
And that's how special of it really starts off.
There you go. Well, you don't get thinking, but we get a Photoetch zoom set for the cockpit. Yeah. This. I can't see any. Oh, I have got something resin. There is a smidgen of resin knocking around, but I don't. Oh, it's the air brake thing, look.
Oh, right, yeah.
Bet you can't see on my camera, but there's a little air brake resin thing on this. It's all obviously recessed and quite nicely recessed. Decent set of decals. Again, they're worth looking at if you fancy something different. It's one of them as well where I'd say test fit.
Yes.
More test fit. Don't just go in with glue. But you can come out with something different, definitely different. This has got resin in it.
Yeah.
This has got torque bombs in it, I think. This one's got resin bombs, but I have built a version of this kit. The only problem I think with the Valen Hampton is the clear parts.
Right.
Because I built the AZ version, they redid the clear parts, and the AZ one you can't get anymore, unfortunately, because they redid I think the clear parts on this are too wide for the fuselage.
Right.
I think you have to space them to make them fit. Where AZ redid it, but you could buy the AZ clear parts separate. I'm not sure if it's still available. You'd have to check, but I don't know what you're getting. The Chipmunk I've never seen, to be honest.
No, I must admit I haven't seen the Chipmunk.
I mean, you don't get a lot with it. That's it. We get a nice set of decals. Look.
Yeah.
And it is all recessed and well, actually it's corrugated, isn't it? It's raised, but it's raised where it should be, and obviously the fuselage is recessed and stuff. But yeah, again, it's worth checking them out. Anyway, that's what we're just pointing out.
It. And again, like we were saying, we got the Sky Raider down in there, the review for that one. We got the Twin Pin by Valen. It's all stuff that, as you say, the mainstream guys don't tackle.
Yeah.
And that's the nice thing with them. Doing stuff like that. I've clearly got the Sword Harrier somewhere else. But I have to dig that out. Obviously, I haven't put it into here. But again, check out the reviews. They're on the site down in here with all the little subcategories and all the rest of it, and have a look through them, because actually they are definitely worth having a look.
Yeah.
Just like I said, special hobbies all that started on that way, and then you've got KP, haven't you?
Yeah.
Who do some interesting subjects, all that similar sort of vein, and
I mean, even Rodin I'd count as that as well.
Yeah.
Again, you've got to be careful because some of it can be a bit agricultural, shall we say, the early stuff, but the later stuff,
yes,
it's getting better all the time. I mean, they're bringing out. I mean, just going off to Roden on a different thing because I've seen it on an advert. They're bringing out a 1/35 Greyhound bus.
Right, there you go. Nice.
Which is just, I just think it's a brilliant subject.
It
I don't
is.
know what I'd use it for, but it's a proper Greyhound bus from back in whenever. But they're doing a transport aircraft with, well, we were going to put it up. Can't think what it is off the top of my head. Let's see. What's the early one? What's like a Hercules, but before? They've done a version of it that we had, like the stretch, like a cargo master. Is it like a cargo master or something?
Yeah.
Andy, Google it because it's annoying me now.
Oh yeah, the C47, C46. Yes, we had it up on pre-orders, didn't we?
No, that's the no. It's
Commando.
after that because that's the Commando, isn't it?
Oh right.
No, it's not. It's after that. It's like 50s, 60s, I think. It's kind
right.
of before a Hercules, but the long fuselage one. Like a C11 something, is it? I don't know. Should do my research before we do this, really. It's
Yes, that's it. The 114.
Yeah, it is a 1-1, literally a 1/1/4. Like the scale, but yeah, it's quite a nice scale for them actually. The big transport stuff as well, isn't it? Because they do the Galaxy and a Star Lifter, is it? And
yeah.
You know, so
no, they do.
It's an ideal scale rather than 72nd. But why Andy does
1, 2, 3.
Right. Is it the one with the little pointy nose?
It's got like a little bubble, like
little bubble nose on it.
Clown nose.
Yeah. I don't know what you mean.
You know
C123 provider.
No. It's I'm sure it's a cargo master.
Something like that. I know the one you mean though. It's the predecessor to the Herc. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yes.
Anyway, so we'll do some questions.
Can do. Right. Over to question time. Where are we?
Andy Googles the what it is.
Where are we? Ask PM. There we go. So first question is from Christian. He says concerning washes. He lives in Switzerland, and which is not in the EU. Can I place an order? So we can't place an order with serious models. You're sold out. We answered this question last week, actually. I think.
Yeah, we did it. We sent them out to him as well.
Oh right, so he's had that. Right, fair enough. Okay, yeah. If obviously rest of the world, things like that, then you can go through PM. PM will get them back to you.
I think I did email them to say that we were back in stock.
All right, okay.
We were out
Phil, Matt, and Andy, please can you help me out how to put light metal undercarriage on my wooden Wonder, as I've never done this before. Maybe good for a bite-sized video.
Super glue.
Super glue, yeah.
Or in fact, I'd use 2-part epoxy. A bit stronger than super glue, but yeah, it's just
when he says wooden Wonder, does he mean his Mosquito, or he's actually built a model out of wood?
No, I think he means a Mosquito.
Yeah. So what you can do is, there's a little trick I used to do. If you got a really delicate undercarriage, I tack it in place with super glue because you've got instant grab and it can hold it. Then I knock up a little bit of like a 3 or 5 minute epoxy and just over the top of it. If it's buried up inside, just to make sure. If you've got a really delicate undercarriage, because that gives it proper strength then all the way through. So sometimes it's just tack it roughly in place and then just over the top, and it will conform and go in, but you obviously are going to lose a tiny bit of detail. But if it's inside a wheel well, no one's ever going to see. But if you've got one of those which is really delicate, that's the way I get around that problem.
Need some strength with that undercarriage, don't you?
Yeah, you need a little bit of strength.
I think your Tamiya ones are pretty strong, but it's getting it all together to make it strong, isn't it? If that makes sense.
Once it all comes together, because if you're just doing the 2 legs up there, that's a lot of weight. But by the time you get those rear positions in there, it really all adds to it and everything else. So it should be absolutely okay. I know that it wasn't the HK one in 32nd. That was really delicate because I know lots of people have had broken undercarriages with that. But Tamiya did it slightly different. They beefed theirs up a little bit, which isn't technically in scale because how it works on the real thing is literally cut the bolts, hold it on, and that's it.
Yeah.
So
I think the 24th Airfix was notoriously fragile, isn't it?
Yes. So, you see lots of those that come to shows being super glued back together where they've had an accident in transport.
Again, just before you move on, just going back to his metal undercarriage, just make sure you clean it up and.
Yes.
They do tend to can be a bit rough, shall we say.
Yeah.
Depending on whose it is, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well then.
Russell says, what's the best cheap compressor? My Badger has died. He's gone to the local rag and bone man. What would you spend? What doesn't want to spend a fortune? Again, it's that thing, isn't it? You can go online and buy a compressor for 40 quid on eBay. Just a cheap, nasty thing. But they have a habit of overheating. If you're doing prolonged airbrushing, they tend to get a thermal cutout and then you're stuck because you can't do anything until it cools down. And putting it in a bucket of water is a no-no.
Nathan's compressor broke down, didn't it? And he bought a cheap one. And when we're online with him in the evenings, it just goes. Brr, brr,
Yeah.
brr.
Again, I think with compressors, you pay your money, you take your choice. If you're happy to get a couple of years out of one,
Yeah.
go for one of the Chinese ones where you can get them for pretty cheap. Or really, if you want long term, then go a Spar Max or a decent one and put some money, which will last you a lifetime probably if you change the oil and look after it. There's a big difference because obviously it's the pistons, the seals, they're just better quality, full stop. It's better engineered.
Yeah.
But if you're in a fix and you need one cheap, then why not? But you've got to be aware it ain't going to last.
No, and I think the thing is with compressors is that over the years, especially when I was doing just purely commission work, because it was on every day at that point. Nowadays, because of other things that I'm doing, it's not as much airbrushing as I've done. But I used to go through compressors almost annually, you know, and normally what would happen, they get really loud to start with, and it's the bearings.
Yeah,
you get like the cage, needle bearings as well. The cage would just come apart. You lose a couple out of there, and then it starts to knock, and then eventually it will jam. And it was always the clue. It's getting really noisy. So that was always the thing. And then occasionally, I must admit, I had a friend of mine, he had a small little engineering company, and I used to go down there and say, can you change the bearing on it? And they used to last a lot longer. But honestly, Matt's got my one now, which is 15 years old, my the 610. That did a lot of work for many, many years, and it's still fine, no problem at all. I've got a 620 in here now, which I've probably had for the last, 7-8 years. And that's absolutely fine as well. Never had a problem with the Spar Max 1. And I know a lot of people say it's the same, they all come out the same. No, they don't. There's definitely a difference in the bearings that they put in them and the seals.
But again, even if they come out the same factory, it might be on a different line, like you say, and it's different bearings and different seals because it's a cheaper model. I mean, I've got yours, old one in the shed. I've got Andy's down here next to me, his Spar Max 1.
So both me and Phil have bought TC610s.
Yeah.
Matt hasn't bought any, and he's got both of them.
Yeah. I've got the cast-offs that work fine for me. And then upstairs as well, because I've got my old Revell compressor upstairs, the blue thing that I've had. Yeah. I don't know how long I've had it. And that's been welded up how many times because it's moisture settled in and obviously rusted inside out, but on the down pipe. So I've been down to and had that welded up and migged in and touched, and it still works. It's absolutely fine. The only problem I had is what Andy did with his and overfilled it with oil. I don't know what I'm doing. Just proper, it just spits oil out. It sits in a box up there because when I run it, it just.
Yeah, the Spar Max ones are oil free, so they need to put oil in them. Yeah. But some compressors need to put oil in them, so you have to keep them topped up. But yeah, it's very, very rarely, isn't it? To have to put much.
Oh yeah, your silent one needed topping up, didn't it?
Yeah.
No, it didn't, did it?
He overfilled that slightly. Go back viewers a couple of years when he first had it. You can see him running off to the bathroom with it.
Emptying out into the
trying to empty it out again.
Oil works. Yeah.
I'm sorry for
again,
we had a bath the following evening.
Yeah, I think with compressors, you pay your money, you take your choice.
Again, it's that thing, isn't it? Obviously, I spoke about it on some of my recent shows I've been doing, and it's the same. Compressors, obviously extractors and airbrushes. Of course, you can just go out and buy really cheap ones, and away you go. Or you can pay a little bit more, and they just keep going. That is the thing. And again, there's no right or wrong to it, because I know people who buy the cheap ones and they just replace them when they blow up. And it's no biggie, so what? But again, you got that thing. If you want to pay a little bit more, they'll just last longer. Naturally, it's one of those things. Like in all things, you pay your monies, you take your chances, and you go for it like that, isn't it? But there's no real right or wrong. If you just want a cheap one to keep you going for a couple of years, and then buy something a little bit more.
Thing is, look, you could buy a cheap one and it lasts for it.
Absolutely.
10 years.
Yes.
You could just fall lucky and it's a decent one, and that's the problem. I think there's no guarantee of quality of the
No, the parts.
what you're getting really
that
for
are
your price
inside.
is
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I think in the long run, if you're in the hobby for the long run, you're expecting it to do a good number of years, go for the better one. Because
And again,
it'll probably last you more. It'll probably cost you
Yeah.
less in the long run than it will.
In the long run, cost you less. But again, just go from the other side of that. I know somebody who had a Sparmax TC610H, this is the one we were talking about there, and he's had literally about 6 sensors for the cutout switch, for the pressure cutout switch, because they just keep going. And yeah, I've never had that happen to me ever on any compressor, but definitely not those ones. But again, it's just sometimes you get like a bad, used to call it the Friday afternoon one, wasn't it?
Yep.
You know, and yeah, if you've got that one, sometimes it can be really frustrating. I know he's sworn he would never use Sparmax, and you know, it's crap and it's cheap parts and all the rest of it. And I think he ended up getting a cheapy one off of eBay, and it's worked fine ever since. You know, so sometimes you can, you know.
I've got one of those cheap ones that looks like the Sparmax with the tank and the compressor on top. And mine was exactly the same. My cut-off used to go went on that.
Yeah.
And they start take it apart and start, clean it all and put it all back together again and the solenoid on it and be all right for a couple of weeks and then go again.
No. But as you say, you take your chances with it. But again, just grab yourself. If you know, money's an issue and things like that, especially, just get yourself something to keep you going for a while.
Yeah.
You know, last 6 months, last a year, you're laughing.
Yeah, I mean, I run a Bambi silent compressor that's
Not silent.
Silent in exclamation marks. But I'm stupid, so.
Silent from 4 miles away. Okay, so long one here from Graham. Watched you over the years beat up on Airfix, Qatari and Revell.
No,
Don't
we haven't.
knock it. We've now gone in love now with Airfix and Revell.
We've never beat any of them up.
No.
I resent that statement.
I resemble that statement more like.
Yeah.
I resemble that remark. But anyway, he goes, has me wondering where the hobby would be without these companies. Yes, Hasegawa and Tamiya produce some great kits and have some A-plus companies. If you had to go back and look at the categories of these companies, you'll find many instances where the first or the only company to produce a certain kit, Airfix was the first company to produce an MI-24 Hind in the early 80s. And yes, it's been surpassed by several companies. They also produced a KA-25 in 1983. We had to wait 20 years before A model took a shot at this, and 35 years before Ace Productions their rendition. Just a thought, neither Hasegawa or Tamiya have produced a British designed jet that they did not license from another company. Well, Tamiya did the Harrier, does that count, even though it's awful? And Hasegawa did the Phantoms, the British Phantoms.
They've done Harrier, GR9.
And the Harrier, they did the GR9, 7.9 kit.
Right, let's put this into perspective. You've got to think of the company's got to sell kits and the market that we've said this loads of times before. Japanese companies go for the home market.
Yes.
Yes?
Yep.
So for them to do a Lightning wouldn't probably be very wise business choice for them.
No.
At the time, they'll do a Phantom. They will do something that sells, like the F104, anything US probably. If you think about it, Hasegawa or Tamiya have never touched anything Russian.
No.
Well, very rarely. They've done an MI-24 and perhaps an Su-35 in 30 seconds. This is Hasegawa. But Tamiya's only done the IL-2?
Yeah.
In 48.
Yeah. No, I'm
They
just
have
trying to
never
think.
done anything else.
No.
Why is that?
Yes.
Because of where the market they're going for is not big. It's like we don't sell a lot of Japanese planes over here.
They did the MiG-15.
Eh?
Did the MiG-15, didn't they?
I know that's gone. They've pulled it.
Yeah, pulled it. But they did do back in the day. Yeah.
But again, the MiG-15 is an iconic aeroplane of its time, isn't it? Yeah? One of the first jets. So I think that's what you've got to look at of why these companies haven't touched the British stuff. And that's why Airfix do it, because Airfix is a British company and it's for our market. It's not for the US market, say, or the Japanese market or anybody else. They do it for their home market. Like, obviously, Zvezda do a lot of Russian stuff because it's a Russian company. And I think it's just a business thing, isn't it?
But the thing with beating these companies up isn't because they're generally not very good. I think most of the beating up seems to be because of re-releasing old kits
crap.
and not showing or not saying that they're old kits. There are
Yeah,
new
Airfix
boxes that look like new kits, and and Revell's normally the boxes were mown at, isn't it? Having the cheap end opening boxes rather than actual kits.
And again, I think some of the point when we have a go at these companies and all the rest of it, we do it from a consumer point of view. As I say, main reason I have a go at Revell especially is that over the last 2-3 years, they've brought out some really old crap kits, to be honest, and they are charging top whack for them. It's nothing to do from us as a PM store, and as resellers and stuff like that. It's purely as a modeler that I take quite offence to being charged what is a premium price for a 50-year-old product. From that point of view, I think that's a terrible way of doing it. Airfix as well. I used to give them a really hard time about basically re-releasing in nice glossy boxes old kits, but they've cured that now. They put on their classic range, and to be honest, like we said before, and it was one of the criticisms that I got from it, people enjoy building the old classics. They are what I call modelers at the end of the day, because you still need filler, you're still going to need glue, and all the tools you're going to need to put together a kit, and so they have a part of their sales. Airfix, I know we've spoken about this many times with the Vulcan. It's that thing. I was told by Airfix that all the time people are selling it from a marketing point of view and the bottom line, why would you not sell it? Why would you pull it? But obviously after 20 years of moaning at them, they've actually given in now and given us a new tooled Vulcan, which I have to say is probably one of the best kits I've ever built of Airfixes in my life. It's just a fantastic kit and it goes together really, really well.
Can I just say, I do agree with you there, because obviously now Airfix put the vintage classics on, and actually they're very well priced as well.
Yeah.
Like my beef with Italy and Revell as well is like what Andy says is how it's boxed up as a new kit. Now this is we're talking now from people coming into the hobby. Obviously, if you've been in it for a few years or a year, seasoned modeler, you know this. You'll go on scale, make sure do your research. But if you're just a casual, I've gone in Hobbycraft or wherever, and you've seen the box, that's a nice subject, pull it down or whatever, and it's a dog of a kit inside. And
you find out it's a 30-year-old Esky kit or something, and
exactly, very basic Esky kit that's been rehashed in a nice shiny new box with a cracking set of decals, because Italy always do nice decals. But the kit, like you said, is 40, good touching 50-year-old now. It's past its sell-by date, but you're going to be paying 40 quid, 35 quid for it. And I think that is our whole problem with how they do it. If they put vintage classic on it, it's like Airfix have done, or some sort of thing like that this is not new tooled, it's from back in the day, then people are aware of what they're buying. And I think it's being unaware, you're just picking a kit up. You say, well, like Tamira is selling 40-year-old kits. Yeah, they're armour kits. Some of them are 50-year-old. Let's be honest, but they're priced right still. And when they was produced, they was very, very well engineered, and I mean extremely well engineered.
Yeah, they were light years
the detail
ahead of
now
their time.
is soft compared to new tooling and new moulding techniques, but the kit will go together. Even if 50-year-old, it will go together, and you won't have any problems with it, because that's how Tammy's built a business, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, Hasegawa stuff, they were reboxing Frog and all sorts when they started. It was, I would only say the 80s, late 80s, 90s, when they became good kits.
Yeah, definitely.
So, again, it's research and stuff. We were just talking more for the casual modeler. And I think we more stressed it last year with lockdown and people being stuck in and returning people to the hobby as well, of being aware of what you're buying, really.
Getting into. Yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of people were saying to us, they would say, I've just bought the whatever kit. And we were like, Jesus, that's the old, good luck with that. But they don't know. That's the whole point.
Exactly.
But as going back to obviously his question down in here, like Matt says, a lot of this thing is not to do with, because I know you go on to say about the Hunter and stuff like that and the Hawk. But again, yes, okay, they're worldwide companies and all the rest of it, but there are, various options out there and to go through, because Revell obviously did the 32nd scale Hunter, which actually is not a bad kit. It's showing its legs now, but, it's actually a really nice kit and all the rest of it. So it's not like we're bashing on that. It's just that, like we said before, and we often spoke about Hasegawa, play very strongly to the home market. Tamiya definitely do, as we say. And if you want to go on the flip side, Airfix, look at their entire range these days. All of their stuff coming out now is all British. So they're playing to the strength, which is the home market and all the rest of it. You know, as you say, like the Vulcan, I don't imagine it being a mass seller abroad because nobody else flew it. You know, so it is that thing, you know, where unless you're into strategic bombers and all the rest of it, it's quite a niche market. But in England, that's probably one of our most beloved aircraft, you know. And again,
that's it, isn't it? You know,
so that's why you do it, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we stress it every time probably we do a show, but you've got to think the companies who have got to sell the kits to make money. It's a business. It's not a hobby to them as it is to you, you know, probably watching this show.
Yes.
It's a business and they need to sell units to produce other kits or keep the doors open and pay the wages. It's economics, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
Anyway.
Okay, Dave says, hi team, thinking about building the 172nd Bobcat, guys, how did you pronounce that?
KP.
KP. What are these kits like? Are they okay or are they short run? Many thanks, Dave. Actually,
that's a new tool kit. We had them in stock.
Yeah, 2020, yeah.
I don't think KP now, or I mean, they're not AAA by any stretch, but I don't think they're not unbuildable either by a long way. They're pretty good kits. So, and again, I think me and Andy was talking about this. There's no other option of to build that plane in that scale.
Yes.
So it's one of them. You've got to bite the bullet. And
again, like I built their old, which is very old now, their SU-25, 48 scale one, but it's reboxed by Edard. For the Frogfoot, and again it's just that thing, it's soft, you just need to sharpen it up a little bit. So I just rescribed in the old panel lines, you know, just follow them through, sharpen it all back up, and actually it's good kit.
I think the new tool stuff, because they've been reinvented that many times, haven't they?
Oh yeah.
I mean that kit you built was an OEZ kit originally, wasn't it? So even that's a rebox for KP.
Yeah.
But I mean, they've sort of come back, I don't know how many times, as different, you know, same company but different names and different sort of I don't know if it's even owners, to be honest. But the newer stuff is actually pretty good because they're more concentrating again with 72nd stuff.
Yes.
I mean, the MiG-19. You've reviewed that, didn't you? Which is Nathan's kit.
Yeah.
And that's a new tool one. That's a nice little kit. Like I say, the Bobcat is a new tool. That's pretty new as well. I think that was only last year that was out. So yeah, I think you'll be all right with it, to be honest. Yeah.
Cool. David says, do you guys have a preference of scale to work with? Or does it vary depending on if you are building aircraft armour or any other types of kits? Cutting mat size, I say. This is my new rule.
For me,
fit on me cutting mat.
For me, aircraft, it's 48th. I will go into 32nd. I like 32nd, but they just take too long to do. So 48th and 35th for armour. I will dabble with other sizes if I need to, but you know, so like my two main goes 48th, 35th.
Yeah,
the same pretty much. Yeah. Again, I think if you're building World War One or small aircraft, I like to do 32nd because it's about this size. Aircraft in general, it's nice to do this. I know I've done tons of 32nd stuff, big jets, but that's not where I like the things. Helicopters, definitely 35th. I think you get just the right balance in there and all the rest of it. But again, if it's small, you know, then obviously I'll go bigger scales. But then obviously if you're into bombers, you want to go smaller scale. So, because again, obviously it depends, I think, for a lot of people on their room. You know, how much room have you got to build? If you've got like something like this, you know, yeah, you could build massive stuff. But for most people, if they're working on a cutting mat and they've got very little space around them, then obviously you don't want to have like wings everywhere or huge ships or whatever it is, isn't it? It's really what's scale. But for me, if it fits on my cutting mat, that's perfect. That's quite about where I'd like to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think my preferred scale is obviously armour is 35th. But I've dabbled in 72nd and I do want to dabble in 48th at some point. And there's some really nice subjects for 48th armour. Aircraft, again, I think I'm more actually drawn to 72nd than 48th for some reason. But I think that's because you get more niche subjects in 72nd than 48th. Like we're saying with what was shown earlier. But I've done 24th, 32nd, 48th. Yeah, the only one I've never really touched is 1144 scale. Never really bothered with that scale at all in anything.
No.
But I think that's subject matter as well, rather than actually the kits. that are available. I know Nathan's just, he likes his micro modelling, doesn't he? We call it.
Yeah.
He likes his small stuff, but he can rattle them out. So
he does while his eyes last.
Yeah, so he's got young eyes, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Looking at David's signature there, he's got a Tamiya F14 on the go, a Tamiya 32nd Spitfire on the go. He's completed a 32nd Thunderjet, that's a big beast. 35th Black Hawk, and a 24 Sambabus.
And if you've got the room as well to display, it was all right building them, but you need to put them somewhere as well. And the big stuff is, Phil will know rather than us here. If you've got your own room like you have, your studio, you have got quite decent space like what I've got in here.
Yeah.
But again, if you're modelling at home, it's where to put them. I know John's had trouble because he don't know where to put that sabre he's built because Lynn not let him put it in the house, which I think's a bit cruel. But there you go. It's again, if you could display them and you like build, good for you. If you could only build 72nd stuff because of space, then again, it's all relevant though, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. Absolutely.
It's massively relevant.
I think he did ask if he could put it in the bedroom, and the answer was no. So don't really ask about the rest of the house.
Okay, Ollie says, thank you again for the great answers last week. I was wondering, you run a model shop with lots of kits pass through your hands and out to the modelers around the world. Have you likely some problems with kits, with missing parts, short shots? Have you ever had a kit in the wrong box? He said several years ago, I'll just paraphrase this a little bit, he basically had the wrong kit inside the box, and it happened to him 3 times before they got it right. Have we?
No. We've had short shots. We've had broken parts.
We've had kits with wrong instructions in, haven't we? But then that company's no longer going anymore.
And we had a kit once with no fuselage, which is quite important.
Yeah.
We've still got said kit because
we've still got. Does anybody want a kit without a fuselage?
And from the same company, we've got one without clear parts as well. We've still not had space for that either.
Yes, and we have spoken and asked them, and he knows me personally, and he still doesn't do it. Just saying.
Yeah.
Company owner.
Get your finger out because we need clear parts because we've got kits here we can't sell.
Had resin parts missing, haven't we, out of the kit, and got them back and.
Yeah, it's very rare, let's be honest.
Again, it depends on the manufacturer. Short shots, let's face it, Airfix are prone, but they're very good at replacing it. So usually it's easier for you as a customer to get hold of them and say, look, because they'll send it directly to you. Otherwise it's got to go via us and you've got the delay. But yeah, it's things like that. Some companies are a little bit, as you say, we've had companies that for some reason tend to put the wrong instructions in a lot. Other companies, like, to be honest, you never hear of, say, bashing on people. Revell. I know we had the one the other week that had no instructions in it, which is the first time I've ever even heard of that.
Yeah.
But normally Revell, I don't. You get flash, but I've never known him really to get a really bad short shot. Occasionally, just a little bit of clipping on wings and things, but not and a proper. It's not even on the sprue. And they've always got it sorted as in decals and various things in there. I've had things with early trumpeter not having decals in. But that was these days don't get it.
Yeah, but that's a blessing, isn't it?
Well, yeah, probably. If Tamiya did, it would be. But as you say, it's very sort of rare these days. But again, quality control with certain companies, Airfix, we're looking at you, could be improved. But as for getting an entire wrong kit in the box,
that Arado I built recently, that had got the decals in that were rubbish. I noticed that when I first bought the kit. And I contacted Revell, and sent me a new set. So when I actually came to build it, which was a good couple of years later, I got 2 sets of decals, so could carry on doing it. But yeah,
again, everything's in the box, weren't it? It's not like you didn't get.
Oh yeah, everything was in the box. Yeah, just decals, weren't yeah, very good.
Again, quality of decals is.
Yeah, they've got black lines all through them.
Yeah, the printing processes can be a bit off, can't it? But no, I don't think we've ever had one where it's completely the wrong kit in the wrong box.
No, Airfix once sent 2 Buccaneers in one box by mistake back in the early 2000s, late 90s, because I must admit, I did buy 2 of those and I ended up with 4 Buccaneers back in the day.
Yeah,
because that was a cocker. Yeah. But then he basically goes on to say, what do you do with the extra kits? He's asked the store if he wants them back and they've told him to keep them. So he's got 2 kits with the wrong instructions and the wrong decals. and a kit that he's got no interest in, well, you can just bung it up and flog it. Somebody will have it. Just put it up, say no instructions, no decals, no box, and just put it up. Somebody will buy it if you wanted to, depending on what it is, if it's the subject matter. Because let's face it, you can get aftermarket decals anywhere for pretty much everything. And then instructions, just have a look online. The instructions will be online somewhere. So in some ways, if you did just want to off them, stick them up in the forum, see if anybody's interested. If not, pop it up on eBay. It'll go.
It depends on the kit, really. If it's an expensive kit, then we'll ask them to send back, and obviously we refund for, and postage and everything. If they, or if they don't want another one, or if it's something that's cheap and it's not, because obviously we got then the cost of the postage. Sometimes it's not worth getting it back because of the cost. But that's not happening very often, I must admit.
I just think he's got some kits here. Why don't they just chuck one together and use it as a buster?
That's what he does say down there. He does go on to say about he's built one with instructions he found online and using it as a buster, which is absolutely fantastic. He's not mentioned who it came from. It wasn't from us. No. But because he says they did sort him out and gave him great customer service, which is all you can ask for, really.
I think pretty much every single problem we've ever had, we've managed to sort out, haven't we?
Yeah.
By sourcing the product, either we source the products from the supplier or the customers contact the supplier directly.
Or between us, we've got one here. And we've had it out of ours because we've done that before. And he's had my clear parts from an F-15 that he never used, just saying.
I never used that. No. I feel guilty. I do feel guilty about that, I must admit.
The missing instructions from the 190 came from mine because obviously I've built that kit before and I've already got the instructions, so that's not a problem. But between us all, we normally be able to sort people out in one way or another.
Yeah.
Okay, last up, Martin says, hi Phil, Matt and Andy, new to military vehicles, so I want to ask, what is the best kit of the Katyushka rocket launch system in 1/35th? That's above my pay grade.
I would probably say the Hobby Boss do one, I think. Italy did one a long time ago. I'd avoid that. Trumpeter don't do one, I don't think. I don't even know if Zvezda do one. Because based on a ZIL, innit, I think, a ZIL truck.
I must admit, I don't know it.
What I'm looking at here are the BM13s. BM31.
Is it like a grad?
It's kind of a very early grad.
It's an early grad, is it?
It's Stalin's organ.
That was it, yeah.
So yeah, I think it's Hobby Boss do a few versions, because like the different versions of it, obviously as it progressed with probably rockets or whatever chassis they put it on, I don't know, but
like it's there who did one, but that's probably a Reebok and somebody else's.
No, that's really old. I'd avoid that.
Very stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, as always, there's not much in the new section because obviously nothing's come in this week. But say things have selling out. They are coming in, as you can see just down in here. Obviously, the pigments and the bits and pieces, it's not live on the site quite yet because once we get our greedy mitts definitely on them, they are ready to go on the site and we'll get those all uploaded to you as it makes around. The specials that we got going on at the moment is basically just a rollover from last week, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll try and get them changed actually for Friday. They've been up there a few weeks, so we'll have a scoot round and have a look. Just to let everybody know, I'm not here on Friday. I am off.
Yeah.
So no orders will be leaving this building on Friday. So if you want to get some, I'd get it in today because it's got to go out tomorrow. Otherwise, it will be Monday before it goes out.
It's somebody's wedding anniversary.
It is
10 years.
10 years. Who'd have thought? Yes. So
married bliss. How many have you done, Andy?
I can't remember. It's that long.
Shell.
He'll be texting her in a minute. How long have you been married?
Yeah, that's it.
To be honest, I had to ask.
Yeah, Harold, Sam plus whatever.
I was Sam minus.
All right, there you go.
So so it's got to be 18 years we've been married, but we were together for about 10 years before that. So.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. So yes.
Sorted. Right, okie dokie then, guys. Well, that will do us for this week. Thank you very much for joining us. We will be live with you tomorrow night, obviously at 7:30 as well, where the topic is
colour accuracy.
Colour accuracy.
Hey, And I was going to put on the thingy and why it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and who cares?
And who cares?
In brackets. So, so anyway, if you want to join us for that discussion, obviously we'll be on with you at 7:30 tomorrow night live on YouTube as well. So if you want to come in with that one, it'd be lovely to have you along with there. Don't forget, you get all your usual bits and pieces over at the PM store. Please pop along, see what's in there. It's changing all the time. Say pigments are all going in and a few other oily bits and stuff like that. They'll all be on the site, say, this week at some point as well. So you keep an eye on there. Don't forget, we've got Florifest coming up, which will be on the 2nd and 3rd of October. It's a full weekend of fun, laughter, games, building, demos, special prices, special deals. There's a special thing from Flory Models coming on for that one, and stuff like that as well. So keep an eye out for that one. We'll talk about that one a little bit closer to the time. Right, cool. We all done then, gentlemen?
Yeah, we are.
Very good. Thank you very much for watching today. We will see you again all very, very soon. Till later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.